here learning English all the time, and I like to use one of the expressions I really like. Is like no pain, no gain. You want to go further, you have to get out of your comfort zone. There's many ways to get success in your life. I would say the key is to keep going and learning.
Technology is transforming how we think, how we lead, and how we win. From Intervision, this is Status Go, the show helping IT leaders move beyond the status quo, master their craft, and propel their IT vision.
Whenever I speak with CIOs and IT leaders, one of the top issues is attracting and retaining talent. Another theme that we have discussed over the last several years here on Status Go is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've made the connection that one of the ways to solve the first issue is to start solving the second. Today on Status Go, we would like to start a conversation on a third related issue and tie it back to solving both issues. The news has been filled over the last several years with images of immigrants at our borders, specifically at our southern borders, images of almost faceless people. Well, today we would like to put a face on immigration by spotlighting two IT professionals who work for one of our clients. These two men, now American citizens, have a story to tell, a story about their journey to the U.S. and their journey of several years to regain their careers as IT professionals once they reach the U.S. I'd like to introduce you to Yorlenin Pando Gonzalez and Orlando Alvarez of Southwest Key Programs. Welcome to Status Go, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
I am so excited for this conversation. I loved when we were introduced a couple weeks ago and we had a chance to talk and ask questions about your stories. So I want to start. I want to start at the beginning. You were both born and raised in Cuba, but you took different paths to come to the U.S. Would you share with us your journey from Cuba to America? And your Lennon, why don't we start with you?
Yes, sir. I just say before I was born in Cuba. I left the country by January 2013, if I remember. It was a long time ago, almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My the first time I was outside, I was working in Equatorial Guinea. I was working for a company from Spain doing IT.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty amazing, for sure. It was pretty amazing because even when it was my first time working outside Cuba, and I was working in Cuba as an IT for maybe 20, 22 years, 25 years, more or less. So it was like a lot of years working as an IT in Cuba. Even when I was working outside Cuba, the job was pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So same computers, same behaviors, same customers, questions, and it was like, well, it's not that hard if you're really good doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about different language, different culture, but same questions. My email is not working.
Yeah.
The computer is not turning on. So kind of this.
I forgot my
After
password.
I forgot my password. Pretty much the same. Different ways to say, different language,
Yep.
different people, but pretty much the same job.
Mm-hmm.
So after 3 years and a half working over there, because I was working in Equatorial Guinea, but I was living between Spain and Equatorial Guinea because I was working for a company from Spain. I decided to travel to USA. It was like 7 years ago. My journey started over there
Yep.
by that time.
Okay, so Orlando, talk to us
Yes.
about your journey and how you came to the U.S. And then I want to dig in a little bit deeper on this story.
Oh, yes. Well, as you already mentioned, we both come from Cuba, which is a communist country, one of the five communist countries that left in the world, which are North Korea, Vietnam, Laos, China, and Cuba. And
Hmm.
growing up in that type of society is not what parents really want for their children, because of the social situation, economical situation, and
Yeah.
all the political issue over there in the island. Even though their principles are built over fair actions like free education for everybody or free healthcare, and growing up and realizing that there's no growth and opportunity in the country that you were born is a pain. So I had to take the decision to leave the country, and of course, I had the means to do it, because if you don't have the means to leave or to travel, you can do it. And booking a flight from Cuba costs more than the yearly average salary of an employee.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's
Yeah.
really hard to get, and to get the money to at least book a flight. And so I had the opportunity and leave, and I went to Ecuador, where I already had a job offer from a medical company that hired me as an IT. I work as IT in the company, and due to the lack of staff in that company, there were many times that I even had to join the medical team and assist them. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but there were times that I had to go inside the OR and assist the surgeon. It makes no sense, but those things happen. Yeah, those things happen
We
in those
always joke
out
that
there.
IT guys aren't saving lives, but you were right there in it.
Yeah,
Holy cow!
yeah,
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. But I had to, several times go inside the OR and assist the surgeons, representing the company I work for.
yep.
And I was in Ecuador like for 9 months, and after that I had the opportunity to apply for a U.S. visa, and since then I got to this country.
So, were you working in IT in Cuba before you left?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
we were both.
and how your Lyndon? You said 25 years
Yes.
that you've been working, and that's. I just want to be sure I'm hearing that correctly. 25.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
On my count, I start working on IT. Like I don't have a precise number, but it have to be between 23 and 25 years old.
Okay. And Orlando, how about you? How many years in IT in Cuba?
Yeah, in Cuba I did like 3 years in Cuba, and after that
Okay.
I left the country.
Yeah. And then in Ecuador, how many years were you in Ecuador?
I went for like 9 months over there.
9 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So did the two of you know each other in Cuba?
No,
No,
No? No? Okay.
no.
we left
I wasn't
we
sure.
left
I
hard.
I I know when we met the other day, I didn't have a
Uh-huh.
chance to ask that, but yeah.
No.
I won't ask if you like each other now. We won't go there. The other question that I wanted to ask you is several months ago, I spoke with another IT professional who left Cuba and came to the US. And I believe he came via Ecuador. He described leaving Cuba as escaping. Would you describe it that way as well?
100% accurate.
Yeah.
100% agree. And the reason you both were able to escape because you had the financial means to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the financial means and the willing to do it.
And the willing.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so Orlando, you mentioned that you already had a job when you went to Ecuador. So you were doing this job search
Yeah.
from Cuba,
Right.
and then you just got on a plane to Ecuador and you were gone. Is that kind of how that worked?
Back back in 2015, Ecuador didn't uh, request or didn't ask Cubans to have a visa. So it
Okay.
was pretty easy. You just buy a plane ticket, and that's it. That's the only thing you need.
Uh,
Hmm.
and your Lyndon, you went to Africa. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Same thing. No
Well,
visa required. Did you have a job when you went there?
no. Well, actually, yes. I had a job in Cuba. I was working for the biggest hospital in my region.
Uh huh.
In my region, it was huge. It was really big. Um, and what I did was I was trying to get the way to get outside. So I found I don't know if the right way to say that is phone, but I just meet someone who was
Hmm.
working in that company The name of the company is well, sorry, I can't remember the name, but
Yeah, that's all right. That's
I
all
will
right.
get it. I will get it. I will get it. I will get the name. Just give
I
me a
can't
couple of
remember
minutes.
names of companies from 10, 12
Right.
years ago
So
either.
it's a company. The name of the company is a company from Spain. It's a company who provide medical supplies for hospitals, and they have a really deep penetration inside Africa,
Okay.
and especially Equatorial Guinea, because Equatorial Guinea was the last colony of Spain in the world. Was the last
Okay.
one. The
Okay.
last one. Actually, Equatorial Guinea is the only country in Africa who speaks Spanish.
Okay.
I don't even know that country before. I
Yeah.
never knew that country was there.
Yeah.
But I met that guy, the person. The name is Oscar. He was the financial chief of the company.
Hmm.
So we were talking. They were looking for someone. Blah blah blah. And I was kind of okay. I'm good to go. So I did the paperwork, a lot of paperwork. I have to do a lot of paperwork to get the permissions
Hmm.
from Cuba, because that's the point. When you're in Cuba, you're not free to move.
Right.
Not at
Right.
all.
Right. Right.
Not at all.
So you both had to get permission to do this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I get the permissions, and I did my travel and start my journey. It's what I told you before. It's like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why when you say before escape,
Hmm.
Mhm.
escape is a really good word for that, because even when you're not maybe having a really bad time,
Hmm.
maybe you're not having a really bad time because you have something to eat and you have a place where you can live, inside of you, you know you're not good.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
you're living in a place where you can be a real person.
Right. You want that
There's
freedom.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's no perfect country or perfect society.
Yeah.
We have a lot of issues in every place where you go, but at least you should be free
Yeah.
and feel sorry, like you can move wherever you want to go.
When you get to the U.S., um, I'm assuming that you got to this country and the next day you had a job in IT, right?
That would be
In
the
a
perfect.
perfect world, in
Yeah.
a perfect
Yeah.
world,
In the perfect
yes.
world.
In reality, no.
No, no. So tell me what it was like. I mean, describe the time and what you were trying to do to get back into IT, which obviously you love. You've both been doing it for years. What was it like to find a job once you got to the U.S.?
Okay, Orlando, go ahead.
Yes. Well, as you mentioned and Jorlenin said, it would be in the perfect world to have an IT job as soon as we got here, but the reality is different. I mean, there are bills to be paid, and
Hmm.
since you don't have the experience to show the employees and all that you have experience, then it's a little difficult. So we have to find some other ways to survive in a society when you don't have anyone that can give you the
Yeah.
hand, help you.
Right.
And in my case, I had to say, okay, well, I know I'm not gonna get an IT job as as soon as I want. So I had to take some HVAC classes and courses. I didn't know anything about air conditioning back then. It's something totally different from IT,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, I had to do it. And at the end, it's not bad because it's always good to know something else. You don't
Yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
you know when will you need that knowledge.
Right.
And yeah, I took those classes and I work as a air conditioning technician for 2 years. And in the meantime, I was studying at the same time. I went to school. I got some American certifications to provide me some experience in the country, and
Hmm.
to start building uh, some trust in me from possible employees. And once I finished my school, the school assisted me in providing me job placement. And this way, I guess they knew Southwest Key. And from there, I started working for Southwest Key once I finished my school.
Okay. So, your Lennon, we'll get to your story here in a second. I want to ask Orlando a couple of follow up questions. You came to the U.S. and you couldn't get a job in IT because you couldn't show experience, but you
Right,
had experience.
right. But I didn't have anything that says, okay, you are certificates in Microsoft or
Ah,
Cisco. So I
Yeah.
didn't how to
I,
prove.
so you got a bachelor's degree, you
Yes,
have experience, and because you don't have the certifications, and I'm sure there's a language barrier, right?
yeah.
There's a language barrier.
I wanna say something also. I have a couple of friends. They have different paths into IT,
Hmm.
but there's a difference between, for example, me and Orlando. We're working on desk support,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and you have someone like one of my friends is he is a developer.
Hmm.
So if you want to try me, you want to try me first. You don't want to hire me. You want to try me. You want to test me.
Ah,
That's the point. If you're a developer, I will give you a project, and I will
yep.
tell you, okay, you have 40 minutes. Show me the best you have. But how do you test a guy from networking or from desk support
Yep.
for real? It's
Yeah.
not like, okay, I want you to reset the password.
yeah,
That's easy. We're talking about all the process.
Oh
For a
yeah.
developer, it's kind of okay. Just give me something, and I will show you what I can do. Give me 50
Gotcha.
minutes,
Yeah.
and I will tell you what I can do. But you can do that with a network guy.
Yep.
What you gonna do? Just let me see. Here is a Cisco router or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Configure
Show
it and
yeah, show
let me
me
see
what you
the.
can do. You will
Yeah. Yeah.
have just a small part of the knowledge that guy and the experience that guy have.
Yeah.
It's not the same. For me and Orlando was like for on the way we want to get into IT and on our experience here. If you don't have the IT certifications or you don't have a proof job experience, it's like
Yeah.
really hard. You have to be
Mhm.
really lucky.
Yeah.
You have to be
So
really lucky.
we've heard from Orlando about his story. Your Lennon, talk about your journey from you are now in the U.S. How do you get back into IT?
Yeah, there's one point that is really important when you're coming here to USA, and it's about if you have or not support from someone, from your
Hmm.
family, a friend, someone had that will be there for you to support you economically and psychologically,
Hmm.
because it's like you're just born, you know nothing, everything, the simplest questions you can make will be new for us. It's
Yeah.
not about to be a dump, we are not fools. It's just like you're getting into something quite different that you used to see or feel before, so everything will be new, and there's nothing for you like simple questions. There's a lot of questions and a lot of things we have when we come, we don't know the answers, so someone have to teach you.
Right.
And the
Right.
second option is learn by yourself. If you don't have a family, if you don't have someone to support you, you have to learn by yourself. You have to do your
Right.
patch by yourself. And that was my case. I was alone here. So it was really hard for me because you have to pay the bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to do whatever it takes to pay your bills and find a job. So I went from my first job was in the 7-Eleven as a cashier. It was like really, I was scared a lot.
You're now working for Southwest Key Programs, and it that's probably an organization that not many of our listeners are familiar with. Can you tell us a little bit about what Southwest Key does?
yes, sure. Let me start with I began with Southwest Key in 2019, and I remember my first week working in Southwest Key. Our kids in Southwest Key, they have good opportunities to succeed in life. they come from their countries and have probably no opportunities there. That's why they are coming.
Yeah.
And when they get to Southwest Key, they have everything they could aspire in life. I mean, they get free education, they have a place to sleep, they have, they have medical departments there that take care of the kids.
Your Lennon, you were talking about your transition from the U. When you get to the U.S., getting back to IT. So can you pick it up there? How you got back into IT in the U.S.?
Yes, sir. So I was remember just remembering my first job was in the 7-Eleven. Nothing to do with IT,
Yes.
but it was a job. So from there, I was going here and there, doing this, doing that. I was in the meat industry. I was cutting meat in Tyson, covered by blood.
Uh huh. Oh.
Well, I don't. I mean, it's a good job. They pay well. They take care of you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
to do with IT. With IT, I was making money. I was making real good money. But I was thinking all the time to quit. Kind of, I'm losing my
Yeah.
time here. I'm losing my time here. And people, my friends, and people who work with me, like, we're making a lot of money, And I was like, I don't
Uh
want the
huh.
money. I just want to return to what I know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what I did too, I was trying applying a lot of times, and I know how many times I apply because I have a copy of every application I did.
Hmm.
So the number is huge, huge. How many times I apply and I was rejected just because what we were talking before. If you can show them you have the experience, or you have a combination of or experience and certifications and proper um, titulation from here, from USA or other country, they
Hmm.
recognize, it's really hard to get inside. So what I did was, by myself, I study and take the Contia network by myself.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
just do it by myself. And after that, I was moving from. By the way, I've been moving here in USA a lot of times, kind of 14 times. I've been living a lot of
Okay.
places over here. So I was in Florida, Kansas, Oklahoma, right now here in Houston. So in Houston, I had the opportunity to apply for Southwest Key. I get hired by a company from Austin. They were looking for
Hmm.
someone who speaks Spanish really well and someone who speaks English also.
Yeah.
So I just apply one more time. One more time. I was kind of, well, what can I lose? One
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and I just get hired. It was like, you know, uh, something like, I can't believe it. Is that for real? I remember. I remember. I
Yeah.
was driving. I was driving. I was working in a company called CSAT Solution. CSAT Solution. It's a company here in Houston who fix
Hmm.
computers. They fix computers. Anything, well, not only computers, anything related with phones, computers, whatever. So I was working there fixing computers and Howard, pretty much. And I love Howard too, but anyway.
Hmm.
And I was driving back home, and the person who want to hire me calling me and say, you know what? I know last week I told you you weren't, sorry, you weren't the right person for the job, so we take someone else. But right now, I want to tell you, you're in. Congratulations. And that was like, okay, okay, nice. You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. Where is the cam? Is everybody
Yeah.
watching me
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
looking for
Yeah.
they're looking
Yeah.
for my face right now. I have to stop my car. I have to stop my truck and like deep breath. You know, really breathe, because I was like, I can't believe it. I make it. So I've been working for for the company like 3 years, and it's like amazing. I remember
That's excellent.
the first time the first day I was in the company, I was full of pride. I feel proud of me because it's like I made it.
Well, and it's a great company to work for. Orlando, how long have you been at Southwest Key? I forget.
Yeah, I started on April 2019, so it's been like 3 years
3 years.
Three
and
So
years
some.
you're
we start.
Yeah.
close about the same
Mhm.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we start the
Yeah.
same time.
So tell me about how working at Southwest Key and what Southwest Key does as its mission. How does that feel for the two of you based on your journey?
um well, I can say there's many things that make these things harder for us. Language is the first
Hmm.
one. Even I'm far away to rule English language, far away. When people speak to me, I can get 99% of what they say. But for us, speaking English is a real challenge. It's
Hmm. Hmm.
like a CCMP plus two.
Yeah, yeah,
Really
yeah,
hard,
yeah, yeah.
really
Well,
hard.
your
So,
brains don't think in English. Your brains think in Spanish.
well, you have to learn to think in English. You have to.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to. So, I guess the first thing that you say, okay, that's really good in Southwest Key is if you're working for a house like we're doing, if you're working on a field, pretty much 98%, 99% of people over there speak Spanish. They are bilingual,
Yeah,
trilingual.
yeah,
They speak
yeah.
several language, and make that's make easy to you to start doing your job because
Yep.
we are switching. We were talking about that before. We are switching between English and Spanish all the time. We're switching. We say something in
Right,
English,
right.
we start speaking Spanish, then switch again to English. It depends because there's many people over there who was born here. They speak more English than Spanish. So when you
Hmm.
realize that guy or that person is just more like English speaker, you start speaking English with them.
Yeah.
But there's many people like me or Orlando that we are Hispanic, that our language is Spanish. So it's pretty easy to talk with
Hmm.
the people like that and fix the issue. And the second, I would say, is the company itself, because the company itself don't have a rule that says you have to speak English. There's no such rule.
Hmm.
We speak the language we prefer. If you prefer to do it in English, we're gonna do it in English. If you prefer to do it in
Right.
Spanish, we're gonna do it in Spanish. Any language you prefer will be the language we're gonna use. Actually, what I do in my case, and I guess it's the same for Orlando, if the person you wanna work with speak English and he feels like English will be the best language, we do it in English. If the
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
speaks Spanish, we do it in Spanish. So I guess that are the two things that I really love from the company.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things over there that I really love it. But I guess that too is the best one. And the third thing would be management. Management follow the same rule. We have the bosses and the big boss and the VIPs, but they follow the same rule. It doesn't matter if you
Hmm.
speak English, Spanish, French, Zulu, or whatever.
Yeah. 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 And that's got to make you feel a part of it. Orlando, as you come
Mhm.
into Southwest Key, and here you're an immigrant, and you've come to the United States, and you're now working for a company that serves immigrants. How does it feel for you to be able to apply your skills in IT to help that mission?
Well, yes. Well, since we are immigrants, we know how does it feel to come from from another country and get here and have nothing. I've been in their shoes as well, so I know how it feels. And we really don't work with kids personally, since we are,
Right.
the technical support. but we help to help. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
we
help the people who are helping the kids.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we work in the background, and our job makes their jobs easier. And with our skills and tools, we help those kids as well to develop their skills, and maybe having them to have a dream to become, maybe if they see us working, maybe they would like to become an IT technician as well someday.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, like I said, we also provide them the tools to learn. We provide them with equipment to learn on what, in the process. And yeah, we work in the background for them, and we assist.
I love that. There's
Yeah,
a lot of our listeners out there. We talk a lot about making sure that people who are doing their job can connect their job to the vision or the mission of the organization. And it sounds like the two of you, even you don't work directly with the kids, but you're helping people that are doing that. And
right.
so you can see every day your connection to the vision and mission of Southwest Key. That's that's that has to feel pretty good to be able to do that and quote unquote give back. Well, I know we're running short on time, and I want to make sure that we get to our call to action because on Status Go, we like to have this very strong call to action. But before I do that, I want to get to my introductory comments and connect some dots together with your story. The percentage of Latinx or Hispanic men and women working in IT is about 3%. It seems expanding our applicant pools to include immigrants, especially those with a technology background, would be a great way to further close that talent gap. So, to our listeners, look to programs that you could implement, that you could subscribe to, that helps the immigrants that are coming here to the US, that are already here in the US, to get the training that they need to get back into IT. They have the experience. They just may not have the certs that we have here in the US. Maybe you can have a training program that can help jumpstart that. So that's my soapbox. Now I want to get to our call to action. And as the three of us talked a couple of weeks ago, I warned you I'd be asking you for your call to actions. So, your Lennon and Orlando, for our listeners who may be wondering how or what's next, where can they get help if they're an immigrant, or how can they get involved? What's a couple of things that they might do because they listened to us today? And Orlando, I'm going to start with you, put you on the spot. What are a couple of things our listeners can do?
Well, I mean, if we or if anyone would like to, succeed in life, one of the things that needs to be done is study, and at least have some certifications that prove that you have the knowledge, and that you have the experience that certain job requires. And studying is the main thing, to succeed in life.
Yeah. That's excellent. I appreciate that, and
Mhm.
that is so true. Your Lennon, what's a couple of things our listeners could do to either get involved with this issue, or if they happen to be an immigrant, where can they go to get help?
Well, we're learning English all the time, and I like to use on that cases. I like to use one of the expressions I really like is like no pain, no gain. You want to
Hmm.
go further, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to keep
Yeah,
dreaming. Don't stop dreaming. I know it's hard. I'm dreaming all day long.
yep, yep,
And the way there's many ways to get success in your life. But for me, Orlando, and other guys from the IT world, I would say the key is to keep going and learning. You can stop.
yeah,
You have to keep going because even when you have the knowledge, even when you have the skills, you never are good enough to rule everything. You
Yeah.
have to keep going. You have to keep studying, keep reading, keep searching, get more certifications, get more trainings. It's worth it because you will feel the pain. You will feel the
Yeah.
pain, but at some point, it could take you a year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know how long, but at some point, you will get the results in the form of a job or something that you do that you really love.
Yeah.
And you wake up in the morning not thinking I have to go there to make money.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning thinking I will be doing what I really like to do. And I remember my grandfather, my grandfather. He wasn't really that kind of guy that was at the university and studied a lot, but he was living for 102 years. So he
Yeah.
was really wise. And he told me, if you want to be happy, do what you want the most, what you really
Yeah.
enjoy. If they pay you, get better even. It's even better. So that's the
Yes.
point with
Yes.
the
Yes.
IT. We are doing the job because we like it. We love it.
Yeah.
The money is good, but the job is better.
I think that is great advice for our listeners across the board. Continue to learn, continue to grow, get your certifications. Those are important, but it's really that lifelong learning. Uh, Guys, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know this is evening where you are, and you're taking some family time to talk to us today. I really appreciate you carving out time. I think this is an important message, and I just want to say thank you for being on Status Go.
Thank you
Says to
for
you.
having us with you today.
Says to you, sir.
To our listeners, if you have a question or want to learn more, visit intervision.com. The show notes will provide links and contact information. This is Jeff Tunn for Yorlenin Pando Gonzalez and Orlando Alvarez. Thank you very much for listening.
You've been listening to the Status Go podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes or get more information at intervision.com. If you'd like to contribute to the conversation, find Intervision on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Thank you for listening. Until next time.